Hi, I'm going to make another video here about problems that students are having with the door lock. What we want to do is, for this particular video, is show ways to make it so that you can program your board. If we take a look at what we have here, we have several different PDF files, and we know that this level here is our door lock FSM. This is the level that has our controller on it. We see that general model of our combinational logic and of our state registers. This particular student chose to use 1 hot. That's fine. I can tell that because I noticed that the bus width is 6 bits wide. And we know that we had 6 states. Therefore, this particular student chose to use 1 hot. I know that I also have this extra logic that was basically the finite state machine to just have an A output if a button was pressed. So we have that. And so this is our door lock FSM, just as expected from the manual. And so if we take a look at our hierarchy, if we come over here and look at our hierarchy, we can see what is set as the top level manual. So door lock FSM is the top level manual. I can expect that the student has run the simulation and it ran correctly, and as a matter of fact, based on the email, that's what they told me, that the simulation works correctly, but they are unable to program the board. So what should they do? Looking back at the files, we want to take a look at the files. And let's just take a look. As a matter of fact, a couple things we're going to do. We're going to come here to add and remove files. And I just want to do that so that I can put these in order, okay? I'm going to put them in order of hierarchical method, hierarchical design. I know that his top level is actually not door lock FSM. He has a higher level called door lock. So I'm just going to move that up just so that we know what is the very top level. So we have that. And then that is made up of a symbol that's called door lock FSM. Door lock FSM is made up of a combinational circuit. I'll move that one up, as well as a state register. So actually, I don't even see the state register here. We should add that to this file. So we'll do that. We'll go ahead and add his state register. Just because it's not in that list doesn't necessarily mean that the QSF that's associated with the project is not seeing it. So I have added it, and there. Now I've added it. It's in my list. I'm going to go ahead and move that down because that is not my top level. That's actually embedded as a symbol within the door lock FSM. So now I have those two that are associated with door lock FSM. Underneath of that, I have some of my test files, and so I'm going to go ahead and put my test files in the order that I like to. I like to move the test bench down, so I'm going to put that under the do file. I have my 3 test files that I use, my .vt, that's test. Notice it is door lock FSM test. That's the one that I always want to run my test on. I have my do file that allows me to determine how I'm going to set up the screen for the simulation. And then I have my testbench.vt, which tells me whether or not the test ran correctly or not. So I have those 3. I have my door lock QSF. This is basically the manual that the project or that the product, the CAD tool uses to determine what it is expected to do. And so it doesn't really matter where I'll put that. I will go ahead, actually, I'll put that up at the very top because that is basically the manual for how everything is run. I see down here I have a couple extras. I have a QDF, which I don't necessarily need. I'm going to go ahead and remove that. I don't want that on there. And I have a CDF file, which is basically a chain file. I'm going to remove that one. And I'll leave the button debouncer. That is a .v file that's used up in the top level. I'm going to move that up under my top level, which is door lock BDF. Okay, so I'll just say apply, and I only did that just so that when I look at Model Sim, I have things in the order that I expect them. So now I'm back to what is set up as my top level. Again, go into hierarchy. I see that door lock FSM is my top level at this point. I have now finished running Model Sim. Everything ran okay. It doesn't have anything to do with the pin assignments because what I'm going to do now is to create a symbol from this particular PDF. We know how to create a symbol, going to File and coming down here to Create and Update and choosing File Symbols. It's already been done, so I'm not going to do it. But then I can then create a new BDF, and the student has already done that. His top level is door lock BDF, and we see that he has the door lock FSM, a symbol in this very top level BDF file. Okay, this is also where he has put his debouncers, so I have the debouncers there. And so that's great. And notice also this is where the pin assignments for the programming are occurring. Okay, this is the very top level. This is where I am actually going to the I/O pins of my FPGA. Okay, and so that's good. This is what I want as the top level. I need to go ahead and right click on door lock, set it as my top level. Okay, then I go ahead and do save all, check the hierarchy just to make sure. Now I know that this is now my top level door lock, which is what I want. Okay, I've gone ahead and saved all. I now need to rewrite the QSF so that it has in its folder or in its file that door lock is now the top level module. So I will go ahead and recompile, and we'll let that happen. Okay, and so now that we have totally compiled, we can go back to our, well, we don't need to go to our files, but we'll go to our files anyway, and there we see all of our files. But what we do need to do is go ahead and program our device. Things that I've seen people have the wrong device. Make certain that you have the right device, okay? You can check that. You can go into your project and you can check under assignments. You can check your device and make certain that you have 5 CEB A4F 23C7. Okay, that is the device that you are going to program. So you need that. And then also other mistakes that I have seen from students, right, is they forget to do their hardware setup. I think most people have gotten that going. They've gotten their USB blaster. They have that working okay. It says it in the currently selected hardware, and then they see it up here in this window right here. So that's all set. We have the file now. We have our door lock SOF. We can go ahead and start. And we have that our board programmed correctly.
Okay, using our one hop, we see that we have our switches set up, and we are sitting in the wait state, and it tells us we're in the wait state because our wait state LED is on. We can go ahead and start switching. We have our S that says we want to start. We have now switched to the start state. We can then go ahead and switch, sorry, I have to see, switch off start and switch on red 1. So we have red 1, and then we can go ahead and turn off red 1 and start our next switch, right? Green, I think, and then blue, right? And then red again, and then we have it. We're back, we're in our final state, and our unlock button went on. Okay, so the board programmed correctly.